I would always try to own my weirdness. So like if I was gonna be like a little bit weird as a kid, I'd be really weird. Growing up, I always thought that I was gonna rebel and like learn how to be normal. If someone was like making fun of me, I would like pretend to like slip on a banana peel. I'm from Florida, Cape Canaveral, which is where they blast off the space shuttle. I grew up on a junkyard because my grandpa was like an anarchist junk man. My grandma had chicken pox when she had my mom. The thing that made her deaf, I think also affected her like mental agility, I guess. Kind of abusive and like not a good mom, and also she didn't like teach me how to speak, so I wasn't speaking until I was like 7 or 8. Like, my vocabulary was more like the expression of movement rather than like speaking. It's almost like learning how to dance first. My grandparents were like, oh, we should adopt her. They loved me so much. My grandma, she was a tightrope walker. Her friends would be like the bearded woman and like giants. They had the friend with like the one leg. If they're like building a fence, the like one-legged guy would come over and like make the holes in the ground. Sometimes I feel like I made them up. And I tell people stories and they also think I made them up. My grandpa and I built an island by like digging a ditch around a piece of land, and he like pushed it to the middle and found this old bridge and he named it Amy Island. And I remember like not being afraid. There's just like alligators like surrounding the shed that we're sleeping on. Like, he would never like talk to me like a kid. He would like talk to me in adult ways. My favorite thing was like, you shit in the bed, now make it. My grandma, who's like a nudist, like would not put on her clothes, but she had these like giant pendulum like swinging breasts. I'd be like, please grandma, my friends are coming, please put on clothes. And then the friends would come over and she'd be like sitting in the kitchen like cooking her like stew just completely naked. Looking back, there's kind of been this like mystical, magical narrative. Everything that I loved about my grandma and that I loved about my grandpa, I've just absorbed it and kind of become it. My grandma was kind of a badass. She was one of the first ladies to wear pants. She had a motorcycle. She'd always wear like stuff from the 1800s or the 20s. It wasn't even clothes, like she'd like drape like the curtains on me. Like, I didn't know what a costume was. Like, I thought a costume was like regular daytime clothing. My favorite movie growing up was The Little Mermaid. I just remember that scene where she like found that piece of fabric and tied the rope around her thing, and then she's like, oh, now I can be a princess. I'm wearing my dress made out of the stuff I found on the ground. My favorite outfit was just this garbage bag, and I would just tape it until it looked like clothes, but no one ever knew it was a garbage bag. Everyone should have like jokes built into their outfits. I have a collection of psychedelic tights. If I'm in a bad mood or if I'm not feeling optimistic, I just put on all the colors. Or like wear an outfit that will like will me in a certain mood. And so these are my superhero boots. I was thinking of the Velveteen Rabbit poem. The more you love something, the more real it becomes. And so I just feel like this is like my Velveteen Rabbit jacket. I just found some old seashells and glued them onto my shoe. Each bead is so like individual and cool. A purse, but then you take out the inside, and then the inside you can plug this into the wall. And then this is an actual telephone that you can make phone calls from. I just like wear things until they totally fall apart, basically. So like this thing, like all the buttons fell off. It's like tattered. I like tied it back together. I really like to match. It makes me, I feel like very relaxed whenever I feel like all the elements of the outfit come together. My current fashion icon would be Miss Frizzle from the Magical School Bus, because she likes to dress in themes. And so right now this is I'm a Matchmaker outfit. And so I'm wearing my Vivienne Westwood, Melissa Plastic shoes. And then I have some Heart Candy tights. And then this, I just feel like is a nice outfit for a lady with a job. And then I have to have my book that matches. I had like $500, just hopped in a car and I moved to New York. Like, all my friends like I would make on the subway. So I'd be like, hi there, I'm Amy Van and I'm from Florida, let's be friends. I was throwing parties called Date My Friends and obsessively connecting things. Someone on the street liked my outfit. And they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a matchmaker. But I wasn't a matchmaker. They were interviewing me and they're like, well, what do you think of the Millionaire Matchmaker? And I said that I didn't think that she was a feminist. That went to print, and just hundreds of really, really smart, interesting, successful, inspired women were like, we've been looking for you. We want to meet someone who's going to appreciate us for being artistic, for having depth, and for being like a full expression of a person. So I worked backwards. So I was like, that's my job, and then I like learned how to do it. My goals are to help people find your most fully realized self. Every single day I'm in my office, and anyone who wants to come in and sit down in a chair and talk about themselves and their love life for like 30, 40 minutes can. Like, I don't care how a person meets a person. They can meet a person through me. They can meet a person because I reminded them to make eye contact or to talk to somebody on the street. So someone will say, well, you know, they were a really great date, but they were very shy, or they didn't ask me questions. And it's through feedback that I can kind of help them become a better, more realized version of themselves. When I was alone, I was sad, and that's how I am now too. I can fall into like extreme bouts of vicious melancholy. What brings me out of myself is my job and hearing people's stories. Like, I'm so motivated by human connections. I think in the past, I thought of relationships as being this thing that you do, and I was thinking of love as being some sort of verb, as opposed to that other more mystical thing. Like, I was always like very much a pragmatist when it came to relationships. And then I met Stefan, and it was just something that happened. And I think he was like love at first sight smitten. But I thought that he was a potential match for one of my matchmaking clients. Whenever I was around him, I would like cackle wildly, like laugh so hard that like my head was gonna fall off my neck. He's a ear, nose, and throat surgeon. I just would never, ever want to date a doctor. But then you meet the person that you fall in love with. I'm like so happy to be wrong about myself, but I'm living on the Upper East Side. Like, I thought love was something that you curated, or you chose, or you did, or you worked hard at. I didn't realize that things could be easy. My grandma, my grandpa taught me how to just be yourself and to not apologize for it. And if you're just always unapologetically yourself, people will eventually catch on.